Hey guys, Ajay, also as the HLE fan. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit raspy. I'm not feeling too good. But today I'm here with another video, and today I'm going to be ranking the X-Men movies from worst to best. Personally, before I get into the movies, I just want to say that the X-Men films are personally some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movie franchises, and I do think watching the movies as much as I have, I do think this probably is one of the most underwhelming franchise out of probably any superhero film that I have seen. I feel like some of these films were directed very piss poorly, and the direction with the characters were taken very not seriously. It's like, how can you mess up the characters from their comic book counterparts to the movie? Like, basically, if you compare the movie, if you compare the comic books to the movie characters, they just kind of fall flat. Like, they all just don't really have much to care about. You just like them because they're like the characters, but when you get to know their personalities, they all just seem to be kind of bland. Not all of them, just a few of them. So yeah. So I've Deadpool would not be in this ranking. I don't care about Deadpool or the new movie Mutants. They would not be in this ranking. So totally, I've only seen 10 X-Men films. I've seen Deadpool. I just don't care about him. I've seen 10 X-Men films. So I'm gonna rank them from worst to best. This is the true ranking of the films. So this is the real ranking of worst to best. So if I put a movie in here that you don't think deserves to be in that ranking, sorry, it's just how it's gotta be. Okay, so coming in number 10 as the worst X-Men film is Wolverine Origins, and this movie came out in 2009. This movie is very terrible. It's not good. I feel like this movie is one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. I constantly kept looking at my phone, at my DVD player to see how long do I have, how many more fucking parts are in this film. It's like this movie doesn't really get to nowhere. It's like I can't take any of the villains seriously. There's just so many scenes where it just feels like it's dragging out. Only part of this film I really like is how he became part of the X Project, with the whole getting the anatanium in his bloodstream. I don't understand why his metal looks so fake in the film. Like, it was terrible CGI with his metal claws. But yeah, this movie is just not good. It's very forgettable. I honestly would not recommend it to anybody. I have it for my collection, but I honestly would not watch this film or recommend it to anybody. Coming in number 9 is X-Men Last Stand. This movie came out in 2006. What can I say that every other person has noticed about this film? It's terrible. It's downright bad. Professor X gets killed off in like 5 minutes. Cyclops is killed in like 2 minutes. They push Jean Grey's storyline aside with the Dark Phoenix thing aside. She's completely sidelined in this film. Wolverine is in love with her out of thin as air. They finally gave Storm something to do after not doing anything in the last 2 films. I really hate the direction that they took Storm in. It's crazy that her character is just so underdeveloped. When you look at her from the TV show and the comic books, her character is just so undeveloped. I'll never understand. What else? There's a Kira storyline that's just so oblivious and just so dumb on many levels. The villains are stupid. I can't take Magneto has another villainous plan, but it's just stupid. So like, this whole film is just a waste of time. This film was obviously rushed. The writers obviously just rushed the whole script, and this movie is really bad. Like, honestly, this is the worst film out of the original X-Men timeline. And that's another thing too. The X-Men timeline has always been very inconsistent. So, yeah. Coming in number 8 is Dark Phoenix 2019. I really, really, genuinely wanted to like this film, but I just couldn't like it. The writing was very inconsistent. The one thing I will give this film is the action. I thought the action scenes were top notch. I thought the acting was great. The acting was not bad. I just feel like the villain in here, Jessica Chastain, her acting was wasted on this terrible written ass villain. The writing was just really dumb. Another thing, they could not figure out what's right for the Dark Phoenix thing. I don't know why it's so hard for them to figure out what's right for this, but honestly, the whole film just felt very rushed. It was really a lazy way to end off the X-Men franchise, if you ask me. It sucks that this is the last film. This movie closed out the films. And it's crazy because I honestly feel like these movies could keep going if they would find something consistent to write about. But they can't do that. So I feel like the action scenes are great. I thought the acting was great. I just really feel like the writing was just very inconsistent on where they went with Jean and just everything with this whole cosmic force. I just feel like it was just very misplaced, and movie felt very rushed and like it was unstructured. Coming in number 7 is The Wolverine 2013. Now, the reason why I rate the movie so low is because it's just really forgettable. Like, it's honestly really forgettable to me. I feel like every time I watch it, I cannot sit through it. I just cannot sit through it. I don't know what it is, but this movie is just really forgettable. There's nothing to really talk about, so that's all it is. It's just very forgettable. He's in Japan. That's great, but like, I don't know. This movie just doesn't feel like this belongs to the X-Men franchise. It just feels like it was just made. Coming in number 6, and I feel like these are like the top 6 films are, I think, to me, are like the best of the best of the franchise. Like, honestly, these are movies I can go back and watch any day. Coming in at number 6 is X-Men Apocalypse, and this movie came out in 2016. I don't understand why people don't like this film. I honestly enjoyed it from start to finish. I do feel like Apocalypse could have been a little bit more intimidating as a villain, but I wasn't against his motivation, him being the first mutant and having all the powers and getting all these other mutants on his side. Yet again, the underwhelming written character of Storm. Again, I don't know why Angel was one of his horsemen, or why some other girl named Polis. That's her name. I don't even know her name. These unforgivable mutants were on his team. Besides Magneto and Storm, the only two people that I actually like. And that's another thing too. I feel like this movie started the whole underwhelming of the characters. I really love the idea of this timeline with the X-Men films going from the 60s all the way to the 90s. But I feel like they really did underwhelming work when it came to the new characters that was supposed to play Jean and Scott and Moon Knight and all these other characters. I feel like it just really got really underwhelming. I was so tired of Raven. I was so tired of her and Beast's unrequited love story that drags out of thin ass nowhere. I'm so tired of that. I'm tired of Raven. I honestly wanted her to go a long ass time ago. I don't know why they waited until the last film to kill her off. She could have went child. She could have died in the first film, in first class, and I would have not given a fuck. She's so annoying. She's the worst character in the New Generation films. Period. She's the worst character. Yeah, I actually like Apocalypse. I loved the aesthetic of the film. It looked very 80s. It looked very campy. I loved the action. I thought the action was great. The whole final battle to everything when Apocalypse destroyed everything was pretty cool. Magneto in the ostrich scene was really awesome. I hate the fact that we don't get enough Sherrick in this movie. Sherrick is Professor X and Magneto. That's their ship name. I hate the fact we don't get enough scenes with them in this film. Even that, I honestly enjoyed it. I enjoyed this film. It was better than Dark Phoenix, in my opinion. Coming in number 5 is X-Men, the first film, made in 2000. I honestly really enjoyed this film. I feel like for what it was just really great. It was on the noggin, and it was just perfect. I feel like right then and there, it was just a good film. I feel like the characters were written in a way that you can like them. I thought the Magneto made sense as a villain. The action was great. And it was just a good film. Like, this is a really good movie. It still holds up after all these years, and I still love it. Coming in number 4 is X2 2003. This movie is really good. I think it's like 2 hours. For a 2-hour movie, this movie really delivered. I honestly enjoyed all of it, with the mutants getting kidnapped and them having to flee the country to get away from what's his name? I got the man's name in here. I forgot his name, but he's part of the X Project for Wolverine. I forgot his name. I thought this movie was really great. And I honestly feel like if you're an X-Men movie fan, this is honestly one of the best films to come out of the franchise off top. So, yeah. Coming in number 3 is Logan's. This movie was made in 2017. I feel like this is the film that should have had closed off the X-Men franchise. This is his own. This is his only good film. Wolverine's his little movie franchise they gave him. This is his only good movie. The other two movies they can really go. I never actually. I understand why he's kind of like this breakout. People love Wolverine. I love him too. I really feel like the fact that he gets more character development than the other people. Like, he gets more character development than Scott, than Jean, than Storm, than Rogue. I don't understand because I feel like they're just as important as he is, especially if you read the comics or watch the animated series. They're just as important as he is, but I don't understand why he get all the development. I think it's because he's loved more by the fans. That's why people care about him more. But honestly, I feel like if you was to write Jean Grey how she is in the animated series, I think everybody will love Jean. If you write Scott like how he is in the comic books and the animated series, everybody will love Scott. I know for sure. Say if you wrote Storm like how she is in the comic book and how she is in the animated series, everybody will love Storm and not call her underwhelming. Because she's the most underwhelming character in this entire franchise. But, yes, I love Logan. It was an emotional roller coaster. I cried so hard when he died. This movie was just definitely worth it. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours. It's definitely worth it. I love the idea of him taking care of Professor X, and then Professor X getting killed devastated me. I love the idea of him taking in the little girl who also has his abilities too, and them growing this father and daughter relationship. This movie was just really good. I don't know why the daughter doesn't have her own X-Men film. They should make her one. So yeah. Coming in number 2 is X-Men First Class. This movie brought me back into the X-Men films because honestly, after Last Stand, I kind of had no hope for the X-Men films. Last Stand and Wolverine Origins they were trash. And the X-Men films just really felt like they were not getting any better. But First Class, they really came in deep by giving us a prequel of how everything came to be, and that was just an excellent idea. This movie is really great. Fassbender and Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy steal the whole movie with their acting and their chemistry. They have amazing ass chemistry. I understand why people ship them so hard. I ship them too. I understand why people are so obsessed with them. They carry these films on their back. They carry First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix on their back because they're easily the best actors to come out of these new franchises. So yeah, First Class was just great. Coming number 1 is X-Men Days of Future Past. This is the best X-Men film of all time. This is the best film. This movie was written so consistently that the idea of the old cast mixing in with the new cast worked really well. If they diversed it in a really good way. I love the whole time back and forth jumps. This movie was just really great. James McAvoy ate it up with his acting, his emotions of him feeling like he isn't who he used to be anymore. Magneto ate it up too with him being his villain himself and, taking matters into his own hands. Raymond was annoying as always. I love the fact that Wolverine came back to be like that moral compass to Charles because he was that moral compass to him when he was lost and alone. I honestly feel like this whole film was just written and directed in an amazing way. I think Bryan Singer, the man who originally directed the film, should come back and consider make more prequels for other people. But either way, that was my X-Men movie ranking. Please let me know your movie rankings in the bottom in the comments. I have more movie rankings coming soon. I have a Spider-Man one, so please look out for that. And thanks for watching my channel.